Hi everybody, welcome to my current planner plans for 2025 video. I'm saying current planner plans because obviously they're subject to change, and I feel like I'm trying something a little bit different and new so far for next year, and I'm quite nervous about it. I'm not quite comfortable with the idea, but at the same time I want to try it. As you can see, I have a A5 regular 2025 take a note planner on my desk. And the reason I chose this planner is because of the layout. I feel like I might be able to do a lot of combining. So in 2024, I used weeks for my everyday carry, for like keeping a track of appointments and events and things to do with everyday life. I then used the monthly pages in my cousin for planning my creative work. And I used a traveler's notebook, vertical weekly, for a little bit of memory keeping and sticking random things in and stickers and stuff. And usually I have all these things separate and I feel like it works, but recently I've been feeling like, I don't know, maybe it's not really working, or at least maybe there's another way to do things and I just want to try. So for starters, the reason why I choose an everyday carry as like the Hobonichi Weeks is because it's portable and it's small and I can take it with me. But I don't actually take this with me anymore. It just stays at home. And I don't find myself looking at it very often. I find myself actually coming to the cousin more, which is great. But obviously that doesn't have this information in. And the reason I come to the cousin more, I suppose, is because it's my comfort book, because it's big and there's space to write things. And I feel reassured knowing I have this cousin, because I know I've got all these pages in this space to put things in if I need to. So my first thought initially was maybe I don't use a Hobonichi Weeks next year, and I just put all of this in the cousin. And the logical place, I suppose, to put down appointments on a weekly view would be these weekly pages. So my first idea was, okay, I just put all of this on the weekly pages. But that felt like, it sounds silly, but that felt like too much of a jump. Giving up using a Hobonichi Weeks is quite hard for me. And I don't know how many months I'm going to last. But basically, I'm so used to this format and the weeks are horizontal, but they're going down on it. I think it's still called a horizontal. That then having to do this, I feel like it would be too difficult for my brain to sort of deal with. So that's why I decided not to go with the cousin. So I needed something that had a monthly overview, because the monthly overview is very useful for my Patreon work, because my Patreon work is a monthly thing and I need to be able to see the month so I know how much time I have to do what. But then I like to have this format weeks. Additionally, I like to have a space where I can just do whatever, like if I can do journaling or I can make notes. And I like to have the comfort of an A5 size book. So, with all that being said, I saw Take a Note planners and I thought, well, hang on a minute, because this might work. So I don't know how familiar everybody is with these. I feel like they're sort of gaining in popularity this year. I'm going to move all these out of the way. The reason I have this here is because I'm still not sure what I'm going to do in terms of memory keeping next year. And there is a chance that I'll be able to squeeze this into here as well. But I may do that somewhere else. But that's sort of less important. This is kind of, for me, that's like the luxury. This is the stuff I have to do. I have to do all this. I have to do my scheduling and my planning to get life sorted. This is sort of like bonus fun. So if I do bonus fun in here, that's great. If I do it somewhere else, that's I can work that out later. But essentially, I'm going to try and squeeze these two into one book next year. And like I said, I'm quite nervous about it because it is a big change for me. I've never had a Take a Note before. This is the beautiful box it comes in. And I will just say, I ordered it from London Gifties and the freebies I got were so good. Obviously, I got some lovely teas and I got a chocolate. I got some of these washi tapes, which is great because this is like, I never buy these. I never buy a whole roll of them because I've never used the whole roll. But it's really nice to just try them out. So I really appreciate those. And there's some like Christmassy ones here. That's the bookmark I got with the Take a Note, which is really lovely as well. But she gave me loads. I mean, come on, this is so generous. I'm so thankful. Thank you so much. And then a bunch of cards. And then not only, on top of that, she also, as a freebie, gave me, I mean, it's last year's, it's a 2024. Last year's, I mean, it's this year, isn't it? Take a note. So this is a B6, I think, isn't it? It's a B6. So obviously this is not going to be a planner for next year because it's 2024. But I was just like, this is so good because, I mean, it's obviously overstock. Well, I assume it's overstock that she had, that she didn't manage to sell in time. And obviously because it's dated 2024, it's a bit hard to sell it, isn't it? But it's really nice to be able to see this layout because, I mean, I've seen it in videos and things. And it's a gorgeous layout. And I was thinking, because of my brain being, I feel like, and I don't know if this is just a normal human thing or what, but my brain takes visual information so strong that it's kind of like it's like an oversensitivity to visual stuff. I drive myself mad when I have a shower, and if there's a bottle in the shower of shampoo, I will read it over and over, like every time I have a shower. As soon as I see the words, I'm like reading the words, and it just drives me wall. So I have to be really, like, I was thinking, oh, I could use this just for like ink testing or just journaling and stuff. But I feel like because of all the dates on the top, it's going to sort of get in the way in my brain. So I had a genius idea. I'm completely going off on a tangent here. I do apologise. I'm going to do it upside down. And if I use it upside down, my brain can't read it very well. So I thought if I do just use this as a journal, just to enjoy the paper, I can just turn it upside down. And then by the time I get to the monthly pages, you start at the top where it's blank, and I might not pay attention to the bit at the bottom. So that's my plan. So I'm really excited to sort of have that in my little stash of things to journal on. That's going to be really lovely. So thank you. So I've got loads of freebies. Okay, tangent over. Look, loads of freebies when I ordered this planner. So I don't know if you've seen inside one of these before. I did go through all the videos I could find on the internet. So there are quite a few with people showing the contents. It has this open spine, which I would say I'm actually not that fond of. I feel a bit like I want to cover it up with some fabric tape or something, but I haven't decided yet. But I know that some people really love this style. It's very sort of, it reminds me of, it's a special bookbinding technique. I think it's a Japanese bookbinding technique, and you have all the spine showing on the edge. I can't remember what it's called now. So it's sort of vintagey looking. It is lovely, but I feel like I feel like there's a lot of stuff I need to do to this before it feels comfortable, until it feels home. When I don't know if I felt like this when I first got a Hobonichi cousin, but because I've used the cousin for a few years, they feel familiar to me, and I just pick them up and I'm just like, I know what I'm doing, I know everything is, and I feel really nervous using this format that I'm not used to. And I feel like I need to do things to it to make it feel comfortable, but I haven't decided exactly what yet. But I may end up doing the cover. I may end up doing a collage cover, maybe with my own artwork, so it really feels properly me. And I may take that over the spine. I'm not sure yet. It has these end pages, so perhaps I'll do something on there. I don't know yet, but I feel like I need to do something to make it feel comfortable. I don't know what I'm going to use with this page yet because I've never had this before. It is essentially a daily tracker thing, and there's space for two things. And I've heard people kind of think, well, what's the point in that? Why there's only two spaces? But actually, this might be perfect for me for next year because I'm not a tracker. I don't do like massive, big tracking projects. It's not really my... I'm not very good at it because I won't remember to do it. I'll do it for like a few weeks and then I'll get bored of the idea. Hang on, I'm just having some tea. But I definitely understand the benefit of doing trackers, because if there's a new habit you want to form, something you don't normally do and you want to bring it into your life and have it as a daily habit, you do have to do it for quite a while before it becomes a habit, like you do with that thinking particularly. And I feel like if you start off with like 20 things that you want to track, that feels a bit like too much for me. So I was thinking perhaps for next year each month I could sort of experiment with, I mean, I might not do it each month. That already sounds like too much pressure. But you could, in theory, be like, okay, so this month I'm just going to focus on one thing, or I'm just going to focus on two things. And in a way, just doing one thing for a month, I mean, you could not even do it after, you could do it for the month, couldn't you? Like, I'm not doing that anymore. And then the next month you could try a new thing. Like, you could have a new hobby. I don't know. I quite like the idea that there's only two spaces, is what I'm trying to say, because you can then really focus on a new habit that you want to kind of form. So I thought that was really nice. You could also use it for other stuff, couldn't you? You could do it for like tracking your days at work, or how many days you did, I don't know, overtime. Not that I do overtime, but you could use it for something like that. This is fine. I like using the monthly calendar primarily just for periods, so that will all go on there, just to kind of keep that information somewhere handy. Now this page, I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet, because the reason, well, the purpose for this page in my Cousins, there's an equivalent page in the Cousin, and I used to use it for an index. So because I didn't just write journaling on the pages in here, I would do like random things. I would write then what that subject was on there. And I think that is probably what I will use this for. So I'm going to be quite free with myself what I do on the daily sections. And some days it will be just a to-do list. Some days it will be, I don't know, some thoughts. Some days it might be memory keeping. It might be, I don't know. I'm not gonna have like a format that I stick to. So I'm thinking this page will probably be sort of like an index. You could do a highlight of the day. So if I do journal, highly unlikely, but if I do, I could write down like the highlight of the day, so that I go, oh, that was the day we did blah blah blah, and it might be quite nice to have it like that. I kind of like this thing that I started doing as well. I did it for January, February, March, and then I didn't do it for the other months. I have done this in previous ones though. I just stick one sticker at the bottom that comes from my patron sheet for the month. So I obviously stopped doing it, but that was from my January sheet, that was from my February, that was from my March, and then in theory I'd have done April, May, June. And I quite like that because it sort of, symbolises the month for me. So I might do that again. That's an idea I might possibly do on this page. And then we have the monthlies. Now, this is the only page that I'm feeling like, oh, I wish it was slightly different, but I'm gonna wait and see, because actually it could be good that it's different. So if you compare it to the Cousin pages, obviously, the Cousin monthly boxes are much bigger. The day boxes on the monthly page, they're much, much bigger. But then you don't get this space at the top, and you don't get so much space at the side, and you don't get this space here. So initially I was like, oh, I'd rather they were bigger, because my plan for this is obviously to combine my Patreon stuff with my everyday stuff. But I'm not going to dismiss it on that. I'm going to see how it goes, because actually I might find these really useful. Having these like weekly boxes here might be useful, or I could use it for a monthly to-do list. I might be able to find something special to put up here. And then it's quite interesting because you have this box here at the start of the week, and you also have a little one at the end. Perhaps I could put my expending on the side here, and then like a total it at the bottom. So I'm kind of keeping an open mind about this page. Quite excited to try it out. So yeah, and by the way, can I just say I really love the colours as well, because I don't like really, really colourful planners with too many pictures in, and I really appreciate that this is very like neutral. It's just grey and brown, which is really, really nice. So I'm quite happy about that. I do think these numbers are tiny. Having come from the Cousin, I'm like, that is just so clear. And this is my favourite, definitely, monthly spread ever. And if I could just have that here, then that would be grand, but never mind. So we've got the monthly pages. And then, so the main reason I chose to take a note, if we go to this week here randomly, is because this weekly here mimics, let's just say, the weeks. I mean, it's almost like they've used the same font. So I'm not throwing any shade here. I'm not suggesting anything. It's obviously a very popular font. That's fine. But basically, I haven't really got a blank. Have I got a blank one? Not really. I've highlighted it. But basically, the layout is similar. It's like a mini version of this page, which means I feel quite comfortable, and I feel like, sorry, I have a cough and I have to keep stopping to gulp a load of tea. So I feel like this is now not quite so intimidating. So moving from a week's, which is so familiar and lovely and comforting, to a new thing, I feel like it's not such a big leap, because it is basically the same format, just slightly smaller and paler. The paler thing I'm not so keen on, I have to say. Like, the boldness of the Sunday is brilliant, and I wish like that was on every day, but I might come to love it. I may actually start to appreciate that, or not even notice it. So that's the plan. So whatever I used to put on my week's pages in here is now going to go here. And if you're not familiar, very quickly, it's a week on 2 pages. So you have your weekly thing here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you don't get your next week until 2 pages away. So every 2 pages, you get your new week one. So yeah, it's kind of familiar enough for me to feel like brave enough to take the leap, basically. That's what I'm saying. So instead of my cousin daily pages, and the weekly pages, in fact, we now have these daily bits here. So the reason why I feel like this kind of is a size down good match for the cousin is because, I mean, obviously you get half the space of a cousin, you only get half the page, which is probably my main concern about this, is the amount of space. But you do get an actual A5 format book. You only get half the page, but you also get the timeline. So there is actually, it starts where my finger is. You probably can't see it, it's so small. 6 o'clock here, and it goes through actually past midnight down to 3, and presumably 4 and 5 at the bottom. 12 midday has a grey thing across, which I actually really like, because I always eat my lunch at 12. So that's really perfect for me, because that's before lunch and that's after lunch. So that's really nice. So the thing with the weekly pages in the cousin is I use them sometimes, and then I also sometimes didn't use them. There's a lot of them that are blank. Some of them I used, some of them I didn't. So it's quite nice now that this is kind of an optional thing. I can either ignore it and just write like this, or if I want to use it, I can. So I'm feeling like these sort of daily bits combine nicely, the weekly and the monthly pages from the cousin for me. Again, the only concern I have is the size. But I figure if I need more space, I'm just going to have another journal. Like, there'll be an overflow. And it may be that because I'm combining a lot of practical planning into this one, I may find that a lot of these days are empty, or they might just be to-do lists, or it might just be planning when I need to use them. Or I might end up doing like memory keeping, like sticking stickers or photos. And if I find that I'm missing the cousin, I'm missing that expanse and missing the opportunity to have lots of page to write, I figure I just get an A5 plain notebook and just work my way through the pages like that. So this is how I'm sort of, this is how I'm planning it. And this is how I'm feeling at the moment. So my main sort of planner to schedule my life, and I'm going to sort of mimic it as much as possible. So everything I've done in these two, so like I always use green for days off, and I always put like people's birthdays in a particular place. Like, I'm just going to copy my own sort of familiar routine, familiar format into here, and just see how it goes, because it would feel nice to know that everything that keep my life going, all the planning, all the scheduling, is in one. And I feel like that is going to be quite nice and reassuring going into 2025, knowing that everything is just in here. In terms of covers, so I did originally buy a cousin for next year, and I haven't sold it yet because I'm a bit nervous too, simply because if I start using this and it doesn't work and I wish I had a cousin, I then don't want to re-buy it. So I'm at that point now, and I think a lot of you might understand, where you kind of, you want to sell it, but you also know that if you sell it, you might then have to re-buy it again, and then it becomes a bit of a farce. So I'm going to sort of set this up, settle into this, maybe like do the cover, maybe try and make it comfortable, use it, and then if I feel like, oh, this is it, this is perfect, then I'll sell the cousin, and the weeks, which I also have. Because I thought, they worked for me enough in 2024, and I just thought I'll just do the same again in 2025. Because I did that in 2023 as well. Just, oh, it worked for me, I'll just get them for 2024. And I just felt like they work, so why not, why fix it? It was only just the past few months where I've started to feel overwhelmed with so many things that I decided to try and sort of pare things down. So I do have them, and I will sell them once I know that this is okay. But because I had got a cousin, I did buy a cover. And I bought this cover. And the reason I bought this cover initially, so I love this artist and I love her drawings, and I wasn't initially drawn to this as a picture. But then I found out that the character actually has the same name as me, which is super cute. So that wasn't the main reason. But I also, sorry about the crackling, I like the brown. I love browns, and I love the sort of it's quite 70s kind of, I would say it's not a very popular colourway. Like this bright pink and the bright yellow and the brown, that's not very sort of popular as a colour scheme. I kind of like it because it's a bit mad. I also love the fact that they're hugging. And I don't know which one is Kariya-san, so Mr. or Mrs. Kariya. I don't know if it's the elephant or the little girl, but the little girl sort of looks like me when I was a little kid. And then the elephant could be me now. That's what I'm thinking. So I feel like, I don't know, am I giving my inner child a little hug there? This is like sounding crazy deep, but I just feel like there was something very poignant about this cover for me, that I sort of identified with the big clumsy elephant. Because let's be honest, I'm only 5'2", but when I go to Japan, I feel like I'm a massive clumsy elephant anyway. Like socially clumsy, I suppose, more than anything else. But like, I don't know. It kind of gave me feelings of like comforting yourself and feeling a bit like looking after yourself, and self-care for me basically is how I felt. And it's just cute. It is cute, and I do love this artist. So that's why I got it. So this will or should fit in here. So I might put it in here for certain parts of the year. I don't think I can get a clear cover on this, can I? I feel like it won't really work. But other parts of the year, I may be in the mood to not have the cover, and I may just want to have the, like whatever I do on the cover showing. So, but this is my option. This is my K5 cover for this year. I just stuck those in there because I bought those in Japan and I just shoved them in. So that is my plan for my main planning. However, obviously, I have bought some other stuff, not a huge amount. So this is going to replace my weeks and my cousin. So I feel like I've sized down, which is really, really good. But there is obviously the Whim purchase, the purchase that I made based on my gut, just because I really missed it. I didn't use one this year. I have used them previously. I love the size, I love the format, and I wanted to have a Hobonichi in my life next year. So I have got the Hobonichi Techo Planner. I feel like these are less popular than the cream-covered standard ones. And I prefer these, I really do. And I missed it. I think probably this was the first Hobonichi I ever got, was a Techo Planner in, I think, 2017 or 2018, I can't remember. I bought one, I bought this, I bought a cover, and that was what I used for the year. And then since then, I sort of bounced back and forth with it, but used other formats. But I sort of feel quite sentimental about this format for some reason. I feel like this is like, it's kind of like the original place I started with Hobonichi. And I suppose since I've kind of decided not to use the weeks and the cousin so far, I've still felt like I wanted to have a Hobonichi. So I got this one. I bought this from the Journal Shop in the UK. Fantastic, really quick shipping. I really love buying from them. So I bought both of these from local UK stockists, which has been really nice actually. I did also pick up the weekly supplement. I have no idea why. I just wanted it. I suppose there was a bit of, this was before I chose to take the note, and I suppose there was a bit of me thinking I would miss the weekly vertical in the cousin, and obviously this doesn't have it in, so I thought I would just get that to go with it, and it can just pop in the back of the planner cover or whatever, and I could have it. Don't ask me why. And then I bought these clear files, this little 3 set, because I just thought they were the cutest artwork. Again, it all matches nicely. But what am I going to use it for? I have to put my hands up and say I don't know. Because like I've said previously, I'm not very good at doing memory keeping. I'm not very good at keeping a journal like, dear diary, today I did blah, blah, blah. So I don't know yet. But I think what it is I need to feel like I have a little extra space. So if this is going to be scheduling and planning and being practical and sensible and to-do lists and adulting and finance bits, I don't know, all sorts of stuff in here, I sort of need a little random place where if I want to write about, I don't know, a notebook that I want to buy, or if I want to try an ink swatch or something like that, I kind of feel like I want to have this little space here just for sort of playing and experimenting. I think that's what I'm going to use it for the moment. I don't know what cover I'm going to put it in. There's a chance I might make a cover, sew one, but I haven't decided yet. I'm really not sure. And I will keep you updated. So these, plus my little extra friends, I keep calling them friends because they just make me feel happy. My little Ashford Micro 5, which is going to just be for daily to-do lists. I showed it in the previous video. I just put to-do lists in there. It's all it is, because it's so cute and it could just go in my bag. And my little hobbies Minecraft thing, which is a Filofax Holborn. So hobbies like computer gaming or any of the notes I need to write about, just fun things. This is what I've got so far for my lineup, and I don't know. I'd be amazed, honestly, if I got to the end of the year with only these things. I feel like I'm going to be adding in junk journals. I feel like I'm going to be adding in writing journals and all the other stuff. But I feel like this is the most modest I've ever started out at. And obviously, there's a cousin and there's a weeks that I bought and I still need to sell. But in terms of plans, this is kind of the smallest lineup I think I've ever had. I mean, you can take these ones out because they're not by this year. They're just, they could probably last for like several years. But just for 2025, this is essentially what I've got. So yeah, I hope that, I don't know, did that help anyone? Was that entertaining? I have no idea. Maybe my inability to explain things very succinctly is entertaining for some of you. I have no idea. Maybe I sent you to sleep, in which case, sweet dreams. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm going to do another video next, which is going to be, I'm going to talk about like general stationery and creative planner, journal, diary intentions for next year. So rather than doing like no spend, low spend, or I'm only going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm just going to have like a general feeling for next year about what I want to do, what I want to not spend money on, what I want to do more of, like all in terms of stationery and planners. So I'm going to do that video, and that will be the next one, and hopefully see you there, and thank you for watching. Bye.